All right, what's up, guys? Here we are. Oops, wrong screen. There we go. All right, here we have a little impromptu live stream. Uh, as I said, or as you see on the title, we've gotten some games in our collection lately that we're just going to kind of go over. And I want to really just kind of test my setup here because I've had some issues with it in the past. And I just kind of want to make sure that everything's working. I've got my microphone a little bit different. I've got my headphones on just to hear to make sure that everything's okay. You guys see my computer here on screen. That's just me checking, making sure that everything's okay. I've noticed a couple times whenever I go live that the color's a little weird, so trying that out. Anyway, Paul, half of Dads and Dice, impromptu live stream. We'll see what's going on. So, hey, nice to see you. Appreciate you being here. But yeah, we're just gonna kind of go over some games that are in my collection. I see that it's streaming a bit here, so that's part of the issue. I see that it's buffering, should I say? But yeah, let's go ahead and start going through some of those games. So let me turn this off because it's a little hard to talk while I hear myself in my headphones. Let's turn this down. And good. So how's it going, man? What have you been up to? Appreciate you being here again on this impromptu live stream. So let's look at some games that we've gotten into the collection lately. The first one up, Black Sonata. Black Sonata is a solo-only game published by Side Rooms Games. Interestingly enough, this one isn't a brand new game in the collection. I've had the print and play version of this game for a couple of years, but I finally got the physical copy of the game, and man, this is a great game. This is a solo-only deduction hidden movement game. And so all of that sounds like it doesn't work as a solo game, but it works so well. So what it is you are Shakespeare. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not Shakespeare. You are trying to find out Shakespeare's hidden lady, his dark lady. Talking while monitor is running is crazy. Yes, it is. It's crazy. It's way too much. So in this game, you are basically in London 1600s. You have this map of London. Looks like that, with a bunch of different spaces on there. And basically, the story goes that Shakespeare had some mistress or some lady that he was meeting with, and nobody really knew who this dark lady was. So in this game, what you're doing is you're trying to move around London and you're trying to find the location and who the Dark Lady is. So there's a bunch of different Dark Ladies, that have here. And so you'll start off with one of them. It's going to be face down on your board, and then you'll be gathering clues, and you're going to try to deduce not only the location of the Dark Lady, but also who it is by figuring out these icons here. And so there's a bunch of different icons and all the different cards. And yes, Wobble Bear, it is a solo game. It is a solo deduction hidden movement game. So there's all those Dark Ladies. Now, the best part about this game is the hidden movement aspect. So how it works... Let me put this away real quick. We're just done playing Ninja Sloths. Nice. That's awesome. So how the hidden movement works here is you have these cards. And I'm going to have to reach over my table. But you have these cards here that have a bunch of different numbers on them. I'm not sure if you can see them, but they're just different. I'm sorry, not numbers, letters. So there's all the letters there. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick a column. So there's generally 4 columns, and you're going to put them in alphabetical order. So, again, these are not in order because I've shuffled it, but you would go like R, S, T, U, V, so on and so forth. And so that's going to be the pre-programmed movement of the Dark Lady. And since there's so many columns on the top and on the bottom, it's infinitely replayable just because you're not going to remember the movements of it. So that's kind of there. And then you have these location cards. So you have like Cornhill, London Bridge, Liberty of the Clink, all these other places there. And when you get to one of those locations, one of the actions that you can perform is searching. So what you would do is you would get this, and you can see there's a little hole in there, and you would line it up with the card. And if you see the Dark Lady there, that means that the Dark Lady is in that space. So let me try to just kind of find one here that would line up. So you would have this one, you would search, and then the little Dark Lady is in that keyhole so that you know that you found her location. That in turn gives you some more clues to try to deduce her information. I'll tell you, this is a very, very hard game. I've beaten it once. It's easy to find her location. I say it's easy. It's very hard to figure out which Dark Lady is the one that we're trying to find. I can generally always find where she's at. I can barely ever figure out which one she is. But that's Black Sonata. Publisher actually sent us this game with a couple of expansions. The first one is the Fair Youth, which basically just adds some different modules in there. And then the reason they sent it is because they're coming out with this brand new one called the Strange Shadows. And this one is coming to Kickstarter, I believe, on the 30th of April. And again, it just adds different modules and all that kind of stuff. And this actually can turn it into a 2-player game as well. So I'm going to be trying this out within the next couple days and recording kind of some review about that. Black Sonata, great solo game. Absolutely love it. Spirit Island's my favorite game. So Devin very much enjoys Spirit Island. I've played Spirit Island once before, and it was very hard. Now, with that being said, we played it at midnight at BGG-Con after an entire day of gaming, so I wasn't in the best headspace, and I just haven't given it a chance since then. I've heard it's a great game. I have not personally played it more than just that one time, but everybody that I talk to says they absolutely love it. So that is Black Sonata. Be on the lookout. I'll be making a video for that in a few minutes. I think everything's looking okay here so far. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Man, this room is hot. I've got my lights going on. I've got my fan on. Hopefully you guys can't hear it too much. But yeah, that was a rough condition. It definitely was. All right, next up, Look at the Stars. This is published by Pandasaurus Games. This is a flip and write. We just did a video on blank and writes, and I had mentioned that Welcome 2 had just almost made my list if I had played it a little bit more. Honestly, this one I can see making my list with a couple more playthroughs. This is such a fun flip and write. I actually got to play it again last night with my wife and a friend, and we all enjoyed it. Super easy to learn. So let's take a look at the Stars. So we have Look at the Stars here. First thing, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. The black and white contrast looks awesome. I really love that this was the aesthetic that they went for in this game. Each player board is asymmetric, so you have these different planets, you have different stars, you have different objects of constellations in the sky, and each one is slightly different with those locations in different places. So on your turn, there are 3 stacks of cards, and these cards are what you need to draw. So each stack has 6 cards in them. Flip one over, and that is the shape that you must draw on your map. So once you've drawn it on your map, you flip the next one, you do that 6 times. Now, unlike other kind of tiling polyomino games, you can't mirror these, you can only rotate them. And let me tell you, there is a lot of decision space on this little map, so it might take some time for you to actually figure out where you want to place your lines. It can be a lot of AP in this game, which is funny because it's very simple and very straightforward, should you say. So, what you're doing, again, you have the 3 stacks of cards, six cards in each stack, and every time you run out of a stack, that signifies that the sun is rising. So you can, I don't know if you can see it, but here there's these lines here and then an arrow here. Sorry, there's an arrow here and an arrow here. So after that first stack of cards is done, you can no longer draw below this line here. That's the horizon. The sun has risen above this horizon, and you can't draw any more stars or any more constellations down here. Once the second one runs out, you can't draw below this one. And then on that third round, you want to have as much stuff filled out as possible. Excuse me. So scoring works by having different types of constellations or different lengths of constellations. A constellation is just lines that are connecting. So you'll score one of your 3-line constellation, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-line constellations. So you can have multiple that are 3 lines, but you're only going to score for one of them. And the score is just how many ever lines it is. So with a maximum of 33 points for this category here. The next thing that you will score is planets. So you have these little planets on the map. And if you have constellations adjacent to it, you'll score 1 point for each constellation. And then you have some kind of in-goal victory conditions. Not victory, but point conditions. So, for example, and these are pretty hard to see because the gold, actually they look okay on camera. But if you do this shape here, you get 6 victory points for as many of those shapes as you can. And then there's some other kind of, just placement rules that you have to follow. But overall, this is a really good flip and write. I really enjoy it. The biggest downfall to this game is these markers. These markers are wet erase markers, and they're impossible to erase. So once you draw your lines, right, they look amazing on here. They look great. They stand out. I love that aesthetic. You cannot erase them that well. That erase pretty well. They're very hard to erase fully, right? You can kind of see, and this is not proving my point, of course, but it's not erasing all the way. It gives you these little, erase things, and even with that, doesn't erase it very well. Only way to do it, put a little bit of water on there, and then it goes away. Now, that's kind of gross. You guys just saw me put a little bit of spit on my board game here. Good thing it's my board game. That's really the way to do it. It's terrible. You can't really take this anywhere because you don't want to be doing that in public, playing with other people. You can pour water on it, but, that's also kind of strange. I wish they would have had better markers on it. So that is a look at the stars. Overall, I really, really enjoyed this flip and write, except for these markers. It is a pain to get them off. So, look at the stars. Pandasaurus. Go ahead and start putting this away. Stream looks to be doing okay. How's the audio? I know, Pat, you had said that it sounds okay earlier. I know I'm kind of moving around a bit, kind of going in and out. Hopefully it sounds okay. Also, as I've said many times before, my daughter's room is literally this wall, so I can never talk super loud. I've got the monitor right here just to see if she's moving, kind of thing. We've said it a million times. That's why we're Dads and Dice. We do this on the little bit of free time that we have. So, look at the stars. Pandasaurus Games. Awesome. Flip and write. Wish it had better markers because it's gross what I just did. What everybody witnessed me do. It's gross. Great game, though. All right, let's see. What else? So back here, I have Distilled. Paverson Games. If you watch the video of our review or a playthrough through it, I think it was even in our top new to me games. No. It was in the the biggest misses. I very much enjoy Distilled. I think it's a great game with a push your luck element that Devin absolutely hates. He does not enjoy that push your luck mechanic whatsoever. So Distilled is a game of you are making different liquors, different spirits. So you have a market phase, you buy all the cards, you put them in your hand. The next phase is the distill phase. You mix a yeast, a water, and all your sugars together. The push your luck aspect comes from removing the head and the bottom of that liquor. Whenever you remove those cards, you might be removing a key ingredient to one of the spirits that you're making. And you might get stuck making moonshine, which is the lowest alcohol on the list. Anyway, we've had Distilled for some time. We recently got Distilled Africa and Middle East expansion. And honestly, if you like Distilled, this is just more Distilled. That's all it is. It's not adding any mechanics to the gameplay. It's not adding anything extra to the gameplay. It is just adding more of the base game to the game. It's obviously adding Africa and Middle East, so there's going to be premium bottles that have that symbol on there. There's going to be different kind of sugar cards from that region of the world. There's going to be a couple new upgrade people. Some of the cool sugars that they have is, oh man, I forgot what it is. It's like glucose sugars or something like that, and it can act as any of the 3 sugars. There are some new ones that have 2 sugars on one card. Let's see, some of the premium bottles are, like I said, just things that you'll find in Africa and the Middle East. But it's a really good expansion if you enjoy the game. And in the box, they have space for it already. So there's actually nothing in here. It's just the box. But yeah, Paverson Games published this one. There is another expansion as well. I believe it's the cask strength, something like that. That just adds new flavors and stuff like that. This one does add flavors as well. So again, if you like Distilled, this one just adds more to the game. It also has new leaders, I guess is what you call them. Owners, whatever it may be. Let's see, there's like an upgrade on here. It's a charring furnace. When aging the spirit in your warehouse, draw 2 flavor cards instead of 1. Pick one to add to the spirit and place the other one under this card. So it's just little things like that it adds. And if you like Distilled, I do recommend this one for sure. Okay, let me just kind of double check what's going on here. I think everything's all right. Okay, doing good. I appreciate you guys that are here on this kind of impromptu live stream. And if you're watching this after the fact, appreciate that too. It's always fun to see what people have in their collection, and these are all the new ones to the collection. You guys see a lot of games that Devin gets because of those hauls that we get. We keep it at his place. But generally, honestly, most of the games come to my place first, and then they go over there. Whether that's because I'm closer to the people to buy them, I'm the one that's going out and buying them, or I'm getting stuff sent here. So I'm generally the middleman with all the games. So let's see what else we got. Here we go. We have, Trekking the National Parks. Trekking the National Parks. Also a National Parks deck of cards. And on top of that, we also have Trekking the National Parks Trivia, I think it's what it's called. Honestly, that one's in the other room. I forgot to grab it. But all of these are in that trekking family. So we pretty much got everything from the National Parks collection, I guess, of the game. So you guys probably saw, or if you didn't see, I posted a short earlier this week, just kind of giving my quick overview of the game, quick review of the game. And honestly, it's a very simple game. We'll say Underdog Games, they did reach out to us and asked if we wanted it. We said, sure, why not? We'll give it a try. So we gave it a try, and yeah, it's a good game. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Is it a must-have game? Definitely not. Is it a game that's very easy to learn? Yes. The rule book is literally, I don't know. I think it's like 4 or 5 pages. It's pretty small. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4-page rulebook. The production quality is pretty good. This board is gigantic. Honestly, don't know if I can get it all open here on. It's going to be impossible to get back. But this board is gigantic. Hey, I'll buy the popcorn. Nice to see you here. Just doing an impromptu stream. Just going over the stuff. Oh no, all the stuff went everywhere. But yeah, we're doing good. We're just talking about all the new games in our collection. Wobble, a challenging solo game is Final Girl if you like horror theme. It's awesome. Oh, yeah. Definitely. If you have not heard of that, Wobble, definitely check out Final Girl. It is a terrific solo game. You have to really enjoy the theme, though. That's the one thing that semi puts me off of it. Great game. So anyway, here in Trekking the National Parks, you've got these gigantic meeples. Look at how big this is. I wish I had a normal size meeple next to me so that you could just tell the size difference. They're huge. You've got this awesome first player marker. You have this sweet leather bag that has the stones in it. Just kind of what you gather throughout the trail. So with this game, what you're doing is, I will literally just look here at the player aid, is you're going to draw a Trek card. There's a river of cards, very similar to Ticket to Ride, where there's different colors of the cards. You're going to draw one of them at a time, so you can do 2 actions. So you can draw one for one action. You could draw another one for another action if you wanted. And then they go to your hand. You can move. So with these cards, they're multi-use cards. You can move. You can discard as many as you want and move the movement that's on there. So if I discarded this 1 and this 1 and this 3, I'd be able to move 5 on the map. Wherever I landed, there's going to be some type of stone on there. I collect that stone to my hand. Depending on the spot that you're at, you can claim a park card, something like this. It's got icons in the bottom, so I said those cards are multi-use cards. They have these items on there as well. So you can trade in those items to get this game, or get this park. Then there's also camping at a major park. And this camp action just gives you like extra bonus actions. So every time you occupy a park, you get to move your person one more time. So it's just a little extra bonus kind of thing. At the end of the game, whoever has the most stones, whoever has the most parks, and I believe that's it. That is the winner. So that's Trekking the National Parks. Very simple game. It's very reminiscent of me of a Ticket to Ride and Parks, like I mentioned in my little short there. Ticket to Ride just because you have those cards. They just remind me of that. And then Parks because it's national parks. So I just won Skulk Hollow off eBay. I love Skulk Hollow. Skulk Hollow is such a great game. Let me turn around and get it. It's in the worst position here for me to grab. Let me see. I might have to get up. 1 second. This is not the best position for my setup either, but let's talk about Skulk Hollow real quick, because it's awesome. Here we go. I have Skulk Hollow and Mall Peak. I absolutely love these games. They're so fun. Skulk Hollow, Devin and I went to BGG Con years ago. Don't remember which one. It was our first one. And we were just looking for games, and we found this 2-player asymmetric game. We said, hey, why not? Let's try it out. Let's give it a try. Loved it. It was awesome. The Guardians on here, let me see. I'll pull it out. So you've got these different Guardians, and You're trying to defeat them. You are the Woodland Alliance, Woodland Creatures, the Foxen Heroes. That's what it is. So you're the Foxen Heroes. And they have a certain gameplay, and then you have these different monsters that have different gameplays, and basically you're trying to jump on them and kill their hearts and stuff like that. Hey, Kabuki Kid, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being here. We're just talking some games, so join in the conversation. So that's Skull Hollow. And then, yes, like you mentioned, there is Mall Peak, which is the second part of the game. Oops. Or should we say the sequel to the game. Stand-alone sequel. But yeah, you can combine both of them together. Haven't done that yet, but super fun. Yes, Kabuki Kid, there is. I actually have two of them. So I've got my Squire here. Haven't played it in years. Here's my Squire. And then I actually have a Schecter as well. That's a little bit higher. I'm not going to grab it, but it is up there. Years ago, I was in bands, and I'm not anymore. Behind me, I've just got an acoustic. You know, it's just a... Honestly, it was a friend's acoustic. They left it at my house years ago. Just kind of fell out of contact with that friend, and I got a free guitar. So it's back there. Kind of feel a little bit bad about it, but he also never contacted me to get it back. So yeah. Yeah, we used to be in band years ago back in high school. You know, just kind of playing some metalcore, some hardcore, screamo, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and that's what we were into. So it's on permanent loan, exactly. Okay. Let's see. This one, New in Shrink. This is Mythic Mischief. 3 expansions and the base game. So this one, brand new to the collection this week. I just got it in on Thursday. Sorry, daughter was making a little bit of noise there. Just got it out of the collection on Thursday. Haven't opened it yet. Let's open up this base game, see what's in there. So again, you know, we are lucky enough to get a bunch of games from publishers. So IV Games, they were sending out review copies for some games, and this is one of the ones that they had available. So we decided, hey, you know, we would be interested in it if you guys would send it, and we got picked. They sent it to us. So this is Mythic Mischief. Don't know too much about it, just a little bit. So we'll read it here on the back. It says, this is a game of high-stakes hijinks in which 1 to 4 players vie for control of the school library. Tongue twister, say it 5 times, yeah. School library is probably even harder to say. So in this one, it's mythic factions with contrasting powers work to manipulate the board and outmaneuver their opponents. Cunning capers and tactical traps will outwit your enemy, catching them right in the path of the bone-chilling Tome Keeper. The time is short and the stakes are high for proving yourself the best in class. So this, again, generally publishers will start sending out games when games are going back to Kickstarter, or if they're going to Kickstarter. This one was actually released in 22, and I think they might have had a reprint of it. That actually sounds right. I think they had a reprint of it earlier this year. I think, again, not 100% sure. I think it's the same game, just kind of a reprint. So let's see. Gameplay. You play as a faction of Mythic Manor students, competing to get in as many as other students caught by the Tome Keeper without getting caught yourself. Each faction has its own unique abilities. You can move around the board, move to other factions. If you've been caught 10 times, or the Tome Keeper finishes, returning all their tomes, the team with the most points wins. So it seems like a highly asymmetric movement game. More plastic. Not going to open that up all the way, but that's their thick rulebook. I'm assuming because there's so many asymmetric things. Ooh, nice organization there. I like that. Looks like you have Frankenstein. Some nice little minis. Frankenstein. We have purple, which is, I'm assuming, witches. Yeah, those are your witches. You have blue, which is vampires, I'm assuming. Yeah, they're definitely vampires. They've got little fangs on there. And then we've got the yellow faction, which I'm just going to take a wild guess and say that they're zombies. They're like the cool kids. They've got a skateboard. This one over here is like a crust punk. It's got like a little mohawk and some spikes on its helmet. You can't see it very well. But yeah, I think they're the zombies. So that's pretty sweet there. You've got a deck of cards, which I'm assuming is your movement. Again, I don't know anything about this game really. Some sweet tiny little dice. I like that, like cubito sized dice. And then, ooh, this has got to be the Tome Keep. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty sweet. Look at that mini. I like it. I'm not sure if they're custom dice. Yeah, they're custom dice. It looks like it is one blank side, goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so there's just one blank side. Of the 5, there's different colors. Now the purple, blue, and green match the player colors, but the yellow doesn't. So, yeah, that's a Mythic Mischief. And then again, I'm assuming that's just all the other stuff on there. And then there's the 3 expansions, which just add other things. So I guess the purple one can't be witches, because this one is witches. So I don't know what the purple was. There's trolls, and then there's ghosts. So just adds more asymmetricness to the gameplay. So yeah, they are little tiny dice. They're so little for kids. For sure. Yeah, those would be lost for you. You could play with normal dice and just not count the 6, right? There was just one blank side. So I'm assuming you could do that. So like I mentioned, Ivy Games did send this out to us, so we appreciate that. We'll get this one played. That wasn't the main game that they actually reached out for. Honestly, when they sent that one was a complete surprise. I had put a request for that one, not expecting that we would get it. But this was the game that they actually wanted to send out. This is Fractured Sky, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but look at that glare. Not glare. I don't even know what you call that. Look at the title. Look at the colors, right? This is Fractured Sky. Shiny. That's a good word for it. I can't think of shiny. Foil, yes. This is Fractured Sky. This game is actually just fulfilled on Kickstarter, either early this year or late last year. And it's out of print, so they have no more. And they're actually going to do a second printing of it. And that Kickstarter is going live at the end of this month. So they sent out a bunch of review copies of this, just trying to get people to play it or review it. And Devin and I just recorded a playthrough of this game, which is actually why we were late Friday for our other game, for our very chaotic game of Quest for El Dorado. But this is Fractured Sky. So this game, if you thought that insert for the other game was sweet, get ready. This is the super deluxe version of Fractured Sky. Put that right there. Maybe. Yeah. Foily. Oh, it's kind of covering my light from this way. Fractured Sky rulebook is pretty good. This is a 1 to 5 player asymmetric game. No, it's not. It's not asymmetric. It is a 1 to 5 player bluffing, area control, deduction game. So, this is the insert. It's amazing. The super deluxe version of this game comes with painted minis. You don't even need minis for this game. There is no reason for minis in this game. They just made it super deluxe. You could literally play this with just cardboard chits. And they have a version of it for just cardboard chits. They went all out. Now, I will say, it's very expensive. Again, I'm very surprised they sent it to us, but it's probably the best produced game I have ever seen. So, we'll kind of open it up here a little bit. See, there's even another level there. So, here you have your different kind of buildings that you can build. You have your skimmers, which are actually not here. Here you have your markets. So you have your little markets. And then you have your fortresses that you can build onto the map. These game trays contain these. It's insane. I opened this up and I was just wowed. It's amazing. And it makes organization just super easy with it. So that's all of that there. You have your markets, your fortresses. You have... I'm going to have to move stuff out here out of the way. Scoot this up a bit. Actually, how can we do this? Let's see. Genius. Put it on the table next to me. Then you have these here. So you have the skimmers right there. You have your cubes right here. And then you have your actual, oh man, I forget what they're called now. But you have your, I'm going to have to look it up. Let's see. They're called, of course, your airships. Airships. It's 10 o'clock at night. I forget. But it's your airships. So I'll get it all out here in a second because I really do kind of want to show you guys how it works. But you have these airships that, again, super sweet minis. And then you have these tokens here that are your strength. Because like I said, there is like an area control aspect to this game. And there is battle that happens at the end of every round. And there's strength that your airship has. So the hidden deduction, or the bluffing part of this game, or the deduction part of this game, has to do with this in a way. These are magnetic. Again, so overproduced, but it's magnetic. They can literally stay on there like this. So awesome. And I'm going to show you how cool that is with the other part of the game, with your actual player board. So that is this here. Again, you have your cubes, your skimmers, all that kind of stuff. And then you have the actual, like, board. So there's two sides. There's the 3-player side, or less than 3-player side, and the 1 to 5-player side. Again, it's got that kind of foil print on there. The board is not magnetic. No, that would be amazing. And then the other side. So now, these here, oh no, this game trays kind of came undone. That's okay. It's not too bad. Yeah, I know, boo. Could you not just like go all out on your already super produced game? So here you have kind of like some objective cards. And again, these are foil holographic cards. And it's basically just objectives that you want to reach at the end of every round. And then you have these cards, which are, I don't know how thick they are, but they're thick. Like, that's me bending it, right? It's not a card. It is thick. And again, holographic, super overproduced, amazing. So you have these player boards. And these player boards hide your tokens. As long as you don't have to shuffle it. You don't have to shuffle it at all. You, I mean, you do, but there's only like, I think it's 8 cards. So it's nothing crazy. It's only 8 cards. So these go like this. And you actually have it covered like this. me see. Something like that, right? So you have it covered. And then on your turn, whenever you're going out to the map, you have all your things out here, right? You have your markets, your fortresses, your skimmers, all of that. You literally just pick it up and you magnetize it, and then you place it out on the board. And that's it. Man, what is the MSRP for this one? Again, haven't looked too much into it. As soon as they sent it to me, I did some Googling. And I saw that on eBay it was going for about 180, possibly a little bit more. Now, keeping that in mind, it is out of print, so they are doing the second printing of the game. I want to say it's going to be like 170, 175, something like that. But it is expensive. Like I said, they do have the normal retail version, which I think retails for $50, and then they have the deluxe version, which I think is around 100. And the difference between the deluxe and the super deluxe is the painted minis. Plus, there's a couple other things, but nothing really that adds to the gameplay. The only reason for you to spend that much money on this game is just because you want something that is super overproduced, which this game is. Now, talking about gameplay a little bit, if you're playing with 1 or 2 players, 129 deluxe, 179 super deluxe, there you go. That's what it is. 1 and 2 player games, you do need an Atoma to play with, because, like I said, it is area control, it is deduction, it is bluffing, and you can't really do that with 2 players just because it doesn't work with 2 players. But the Atoma ran very smoothly. It screwed me bad 2 turns in a row. So it does things that will hinder you. And it ran really well. Now, saying that, Devin and I are also terrible at running Atomas. So there might be a few mistakes of us just missing its turn or doing its turn later. But yeah, that is that. So yeah, that's all the new games that we've gotten in the collection within the last month, maybe a little bit more. I don't think there's anything at Devin's house, but yeah. So the stream worked well. Oh, Ian, you're here. Appreciate it. Just saw you were live. Had to see what was new. So intrigued by Look at the Stars. Yes. Look at the Stars is awesome. It's a very good game. Again, the markers suck, but other than that, it's a great game. Yeah, just impromptu live. Wanted to, check out or make sure that my stream was working well. But yeah. What else? I think that's really all that I have. I'll hang around for a bit if you guys just kind of want to chat a little bit, ask about some games, anything like that. Yeah, I'm kind of up for anything. I'll start putting this away. I need to find a place for this game because, again, it's gigantic and there's not a ton of space on my shelves at my house. Because I kind of share this room with my daughter. This is kind of my daughter's playroom. Her kitchen set is right over there. So, and this is also the guest room. There's a bed right over there. So, this is just kind of the spare bedroom, whatever, the catch-all room. Yeah, that's about it. Let's see. This week, yesterday. So Devin and I met on Friday. That's generally the day that we meet to play games. I'm shocked Devin didn't grab Jaws or something for the boat and the scavenger hunt. Jaws, again, another game that we do not own. I've heard great things about it. Have you played that one? It was funny. We were talking about it immediately after. A Feast for Odin was right in front of him. And I know I picked that last time. There's also Raiders of the North Sea was right in front of him. That definitely had a boat. There's a couple games that had boats. But let me tell you, just randomly have somebody say, hey, scavenger hunt, find whatever. Your brain goes blank. And it's very hard to think of things on the spot. Let's see, yeah. So this weekend, yesterday, I guess I should say, Well, no, we'll talk about Friday. So after we went off live, Shipwrights does have boats, and he has two Shipwrights. He has the original and the new one. After we went live, we played Blue Lagoon, another game with boats. Blue Lagoon is a Reiner Knizia game. We're kind of just working through our shelf, or through his shelf of games, just unplayed, just because we have to play all those games at some point. And that was a fun one. It was a pretty good game. I honestly don't know how to describe it. It was a very Reiner Knizia kind of game. And then yesterday, we went up to my local board game bar, played Look at the Stars, played Distilled with the expansion. What else? Ooh, played Century Spice Road. Generally, I play Century Golem Edition. And this time, they had Spice Road up at their location. And I beat my wife by 3 points. I thought she was going to take it because she bought the 6 card. And I was going to buy it on my turn, but she bought it. But I still ended up winning by 3 points, so that was awesome. And then, yeah, that was it. Played some good games. Oh, played Dogfight. That was a good one. Love Dogfight. Fun little filler game. But yeah, I think that was it. What about you guys? What did you guys play this weekend? All right. Oh, let's see. I think this was good. I think this worked out. I was able to play Flamecraft for the first time. Liked it a lot. Awesome. I'm glad you did. If you saw, our video or misses, Flamecraft was my biggest miss. I expected more to it than what it was. I can see why people enjoy it. I can see why it's a great game. I just expected more. Played it, I want to say 3 or 4. No, it's definitely more than that. It's probably like 5, 6 times, and just couldn't get into it. Honey Buzz. Oh, and then I'll have to mention, I've been playing with Ian here on BGA Ticket to Ride today. We'll see how that game goes. He's beat me at every game that we've played. We played Patchwork, we played Azul, we played something else also, I don't remember. And then I also got to play with Mike from the Brothers Murph on BGA. It's a Wonderful World, and unfortunately, I let Dads and Dice down by getting destroyed. Which, if you know me, is not surprising. But Devin was a little bit upset at me. He said, "You gotta rep the channel." So I said, "For that to happen, you need to take over my account." Honeybuzz solo. I have Honeybuzz. Actually, I just let Joe from Board Games for Two borrow it. Just because his wife Shelby, she's wanted to try it out. It is a game that was disappointing for me as well. I wanted to like it. The theme seems super. The theme is very nice. It didn't work out. I wanted it to feel like this combo-tastic game, and it just didn't work out. Can't stop. That's right. Yeah, some people really liked Honey Buzz. Some people I don't know. It just didn't click for me. Rolling Realms with, I forget that Jamie does that weekly. Which realms did he use? So I have the only 2 additional realms that I have are Architects of the West Kingdom, because obviously we're Garfield stands, and Feast for Odin, because that's Devin and I's top 3 games, one of our top 3 games. Ooh, you got Broom Service. Okay, so Devin and I, we have Broom Service as well, and I believe it's a 3-player game plus 3 to 5 or whatever. You can't play it with 2. So we have not had a chance to play it, but we just heard the first time we looked at it, we just thought it was so silly. A game called Broom Service. That again, we just thought it was silly, but then we were kind of like talking bad about it or just kind of making fun of it, and tons of people were like, "No, you should definitely check out that game. It's really good. It's supposed to be a really good game." So now we're just like itching to play it, but we can't get like a third player to get with us. Let's see. Round one, Biddy and Walter, Terra Mystica, Skulk Hollow. That's awesome that Rolling Realms has a Skulk Hollow card. Feast Rotom, Pendulum. Okay, so have you played Prague Kaput Regni? I've heard that is such an awesome game, but honestly, I'm a little intimidated by it. I think Devin would really enjoy it, but it looks like a pretty sweet game. I was on the alpha on BGA for it somehow. I don't remember how, but I actually never pulled the trigger and played it. Honestly, Ian, I haven't been on BGA in months until I started playing with you. So, yeah, I'll if anybody wants to play me on BGA, I'll put my account in the comments here. Just add me and I'll lose to you. You can pad your stats, but we'll have a good time. Round three, Sleeping Gods, Between Two Castles in the Society. I like Between Two Castles, the realm. I think it's a great one. I haven't played Between Two Castles, a real game. Too heavy for you, more of a midweight and lower. Yeah, so my sweet spot is really that midweight to low heavy games. And Devin, he really leans more to the heavy games. So, for us, a perfect game is, again, those Garfield kind of weight games, which is, I guess, probably why both of us like it so much, because him and I are the people that play each other the most. So a lot of times, I'll play those heavier games to kind of, you know, let him enjoy them, or let him play them, kind of thing. Because again, we have two completely different personalities. I don't care about losing in games whatsoever. If I did care, I would have stopped this hobby years ago. I've talked about it before. My BG8 or my BG stats, board game stats, I think I have like a 36% win rate. I'm not that great at games. What I enjoy games is I just enjoy playing. I like focusing on myself and not really worrying about other people. I just like doing what I'm doing. So Devin's the complete opposite. If he loses a game, he will think about it for the next week, month. There's been a couple games that we've played years ago, and Devin will be like, I remember the exact board state and what you did to screw me over. I'm like, dude, I don't even remember when we played that game. So, it's funny. It's funny, different people, different styles of games. So, yeah, it's been a ton of fun playing those games. I've appreciated you doing that, and it's probably my turn, so I'll get to that in a bit. My wife is much lower weight than me, so my solo gaming is definitely in the higher range. Yeah, I can see that. My wife is definitely in the lower range of gaming, weight wise. So if I want those higher ones, it's going to be solo or with Devin. Broom Service will lean towards more the medium, your kind of playstyle, but I think it's got a lot more depth than meets the eye. Those games are awesome because those games are highly replayable, right? And you can see that from your first playthrough of just, oh, I wonder what would have happened if I did this, or I wonder what would have happened if I did that. So that's awesome. We're actually meeting up with Joe from Board Games for Two this weekend. We try to do it, once a month, or about once a month or so, or once every 2 months. We meet halfway, and this is a game we've talked about playing with him multiple times. We just haven't. And actually, this weekend we're playing some Hexplore It. I don't know anything about Hexplore It. Joe absolutely loves Hexplore It. Devin absolutely loves Hexplore It the time that he's played it. And they both say, hey, it's exploring and dice rolling. You will love it. So I'm saying for sure we're going to Hexplore It. But both of them have said it's going to be a 6-hour campaign of it. So that's probably the only game that will get played this weekend. Ian, have a good night. I appreciate you being here. Yes, I'll probably be heading out soon too because we do have state testing this week. When my wife's at work, I just kind of have nothing to do and want to try this out. So I'm up later than I should be, so I'll probably be heading out in a few minutes. But yeah, just walk around and count the tiles on the ceiling and whatever on the floor. Have a good night. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, so that's about it. What'd you guys think of this? Did you guys like going through the new games? We do have a couple more games coming to us this month, so maybe I'll do this again. That was fun. I enjoyed it. And I know you guys have talked about looking at some unboxings and stuff like that, and we've kind of changed up our video formats or our released videos, and not doing, the reviews and the unboxings and stuff like that. So maybe this will take the place of that. But yeah, that's really about all that I have. Appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, BGA, I will play with you guys if you would like to. I've been having a ton of fun with Ian here. I'll put that in the comments, or it's in one of the shorts if you want to go find it, whatever. Yeah, that's about it. So, again, appreciate you guys being here. And this Friday, Devin's going live. He is going solo because my wife will be working on Friday night. So Devin is going solo. He is playing Marvel Champions. And I believe he said he was going to do a two-handed Marvel Champions. I don't remember exactly. But he has literally all the Marvel Champions stuff. So if you want to watch some of that, watch Devin's live stream. For those of you watching, we have Dice Throne coming out on Tuesday. Cursed Pirate versus Pyromancer. Should be a decent match. But yeah, that's it. So appreciate you guys being here. As always, remember, like, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really does help us. Share this video. That helps us out too. And that's it for me. See y'all next time.